then Senator Warnock, Senator Fisher, Senator Booker, and then Senator Highsmith. Senator Thune.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Nice to have you here. And I appreciate the committee turning its focus to the challenges that our farmers and ranchers in rural communities are facing, among those high inflation, rising food and energy costs, commodity market volatility, and supply chain constraints, I think all of which have been referenced at some level today, coming at a time when producers are working to ramp up production to address global food shortage concerns. We got in South Dakota, I think, as you know, producers who are dealing with difficult weather conditions this spring, including, depending on where you are in the state, drought, severe drought, excess moisture, and significant storm damage. And I would urge the USDA to provide expedited assistance to those affected producers. Mr. Secretary, many of the commodity prices are high. Inflation has sent farm production expenses skyrocketing. As a result, net farm income is expected to decline this year. And to make matters worse, some producers in my state recently had significant weather-related storm damage to their property, including farm equipment, buildings, and grain bins. And so there's a deep concern about replacing these critical elements of their operations and how expensive it will be given the soaring costs that we are experiencing. What is USDA doing to address inflation and its effect on agriculture, and what can USDA do to help producers mitigate the sharply increasing costs of these weather-related damage repairs?
Well, I would say, Senator, that our primary focus is trying to make sure that the disaster assistance programs that are in place that have been funded and financed by Congress are made available as quickly as possible. An example of that is the emergency, the WIP Plus program that folks refer to. We basically redesigned the way in which that program will operate so we could get resources out to farmers as quickly as possible, making it much easier and much simpler for them to apply for those resources. That's going to continue. We haven't been hesitant in terms of getting pandemic assistance out, over $6 billion of resources provided. We'll continue to look for ways in which we can utilize the livestock forage program and the livestock indemnity program, the crop insurance, NAP, all of those programs to basically make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to provide assistance and help. You know, in terms of some of the challenges, the fertilizer issue, I think there is an opportunity here for us to begin the process of being more self-reliant when it comes to the ingredients that go into fertilizer. Which is why the $500 million is going to be allocated. We think there's going to be great interest in that effort, which we hope to be able to launch this summer. We think there's an opportunity for us to use the conservation programs effectively and efficiently to advance precision agriculture that will help to reduce costs. We think there's research that's suggesting that perhaps some of our acres are potentially over-fertilized, and to the extent that we can give farmers that information, they can make more informed decisions about their operation. So there's a wide variety of things that we're attempting to do.
Okay. Well, and a lot of those programs you mentioned are programs in previous farm bills that I and others have been involved in creating, and hopefully they will work effectively in times when we really need them, like right now. I want to hit on the Black Hills National Forests and other forests, which provide recreation opportunities and contribute significantly to local and regional economies. In the last few years, we've seen enormous wildfires across the West. Those fires were in many cases devastating to local communities and have lasting effects on water quality, wildlife, recreation, and tourism. Proper forest management is as important now as it has ever been, and it plays a critical role in maintaining forest health and reducing the threat of catastrophic fires. In the Black Hills, the forest products industry has been a reliable partner in the proper management of the forest. Fortunately, last year we had a sawmill in the Black Hills that closed due to a lack of timber availability, and I'm concerned that more mill closures could be imminent if the Forest Service doesn't take action to maintain the forest timber sale program. Numerous concerns have been raised with the Forest Service's publication of a general technical report on the forest timber sale program and the agency's failure to uphold its commitment to work collaboratively with industry and state and local officials through consideration of the science-based recommendations from the formal Black Hills National Forest Advisory Board and state foresters. Following the GTR, we've seen a drastic reduction in timber sales and loss of milling infrastructure that's critical in meeting the goals outlined in the Forest Service 10-year wildlife reduction strategy. So what steps are you taking to make sure the Forest Service upholds its commitment to collaborate and to avoid additional mill closures?
Well, one thing we've done, Senator, is to establish a NEPA strike team directed to the Black Hills to make sure that we are determining the appropriate volume estimates for the next 3 years. We also have a national team working on a timber pilot transfer program, basically bringing in potential timber from the west for processing in South Dakota. And as you know, you've asked, not you, the folks have asked for a reconsideration of the GTR report, and we are in the process of completing that reconsideration. I expect to anticipate decisions on that in June.
Yeah, and you're right. We have asked for that, Phil. Thank you. Madam Chair, my time's expired. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Senator Warnock.